The year was 2149. Earth had changed a lot. People lived longer, cities were taller, and space travel was normal, but not great. Humans had sent ships beyond Mars, even built small bases on the Moon and Titan, but they were still new to the hour. Stars. Miles Carter worked at the Lunar HQ for NASA. He wasn't famous or important. He just checked old data from deep space probes, most of which had been floating for decades. One day, something strange showed up on his screen. A signal. It didn't come from any known planet or star. It came from a dark spot in space far away from anything. He flagged it, thinking it might be a mistake. But when he played it again, he realized it wasn't random noise. It was a pattern. Someone, or something, had sent it on purpose. Naomi Reyes was a scientist who studied life in space. She didn't believe in aliens much, but she liked puzzles. Miles showed her the signal. She listened, looked at the numbers, and got quiet. "This isn't natural," she said. "Someone made this." They worked together, trying to break the code. Days turned into weeks. Slowly, they uncovered something big. The signal wasn't just a message. It was instructions, blueprints, a design for something that could move faster than any ship ever built. They told their boss. Then their boss told someone higher up. Soon the US government was involved. Other countries found out too. Everyone wanted to know what it meant. A secret meeting happened. Only a few people knew about it. They decided to send a mission, not to the stars, but to find where the signal came from. But before they could act, something else arrived. Another message hidden inside the first one. It gave coordinates. Not to space, but to a frozen world near Neptune. No one had seen it before. It was like the planet had been hiding. The mission was approved. No news, no leaks. Just a small team. Miles and Naomi were part of it. So was Captain Daniel Hayes, a tough man with a past full of war and silence. They left Earth quietly. No fanfare. Just them, a ship, and a mystery waiting in the ice. As they flew deeper into space, none of them knew what they would find. But they all felt it. The sense that something big was about to change. For the first time in history, humanity wasn't just watching the stars. They were reaching for them. And someone, or something, was waiting. The ship moved slowly through space. Its name was the Voyant, a small but strong vessel built for deep exploration. Miles Carter and Naomi Reyes were on board, along with a team of scientists, soldiers, and engineers. Leading them was Captain Daniel Hayes, a man who didn't talk much but always knew what to do. Their mission was clear. Reach the frozen world near Neptune and find the source of the signal. The planet had no name. It was dark, cold, and covered in thick layers of ice. From orbit it looked dead. They landed near a strange reading, a place where something big was buried under the ice. Using heat drills and scanning tools, they began digging. Days passed. Then deep below the surface they found it. A ship. Not a human one. It was old, broken and half-buried, but it was real. Metal that didn't match any known material. Symbols carved into the walls, wires still faintly glowing with power. Miles touched the surface with his gloved hand. "This thing has been here for a long time," he said. Naomi scanned the area. "We need to get inside." With help from the team, they cut through a side panel. The air inside was thin but breathable. They stepped in carefully, lights shining. Through the dark halls, what they found shocked them. The ship wasn't just alien. It was ancient, older than anything in human records. The tech inside was unlike anything seen before. Some parts still worked. Screens flickered, machines hummed. In the center of the ship they found a core, a glowing sphere floating inside a glass case. It pulsed like a heartbeat. "This must be what sent the signal," Naomi whispered. Miles studied the readings. "It's not just sending. It's listening." Before they could say more, alarms started. Red lights flashed. The ship was waking up. A drone dropped from the ceiling. Small, fast, and armed. It fired a warning shot, melting part of the floor. Hayes shouted, "Everyone back!" They ran, dodging shots, trying to stay alive. The drone followed, sending out a burst of energy. "It's sending a message," Miles yelled. "Someone knows. We're here." They barely made it outside before the ship started shaking. The site was collapsing. As they stood in the freezing wind watching the entrance vanish under tons of ice, Naomi looked at Miles. "We got what we came for," she said. He nodded, holding the core in his hands. But far away, across the stars, someone or something had just received a warning, and they were not happy. Back on Earth, the core was taken to a hidden lab under the Rocky Mountains. Scientists worked non-stop. Miles Carter and Naomi Reyes led the team. They didn't sleep much. The tech was unlike anything ever seen. But slowly, they began to understand it. Weeks turned into months. Then came the first real ship, the USS Aegis, built using the alien core as its power source. It was fast, silent, deadly. No one knew what to call it at first. Not a warship, not just an explorer. Something new. The world watched as the Galactic Council sent messages. Calm words, polite warnings. They wanted to talk. They wanted the tech. Samuel Grant, head of the Office of Planetary Defense, read the messages in his quiet office. He was old, tired, and used to politics, but this time he didn't care about being polite. "They don't want peace," he said. "They want control." Then the aliens showed up. Ships arrived near Mars, big, gray, and unmoving. A line of them, blocking the path between Earth and its outer bases. No attack, no threat, just presence. A message came. Hand over the technology or face consequences. Grant didn't answer. Instead, he gave an order. The USS Aegis launched from orbit. It moved like lightning, faster than any known ship. The alien fleet barely had time to react before the Aegis appeared in their formation. Then it fired. 3 ships vanished in a flash. Gone. No debris, no warning. The others turned and ran. On Earth, people watched the footage. Stunned silence. Then cheers. The weak had struck back, and they had won. In space, the remaining alien ships pulled away. The blockade was broken, but fear spread across the galaxy. Humans had weapons now, weapons that could erase ships in seconds, weapons that broke the rules everyone else followed. The Galactic Council called emergency meetings. Some wanted peace talks, others wanted war. And far away, in a dark corner of space, someone watched the battle again and again, not with fear, but with interest. Miles stood on a rooftop in Colorado looking at the stars. Naomi walked up beside him. "We've changed everything," she said. He nodded. "I know. For the first time, humans weren't just part of the galaxy. They were shaping it." Things were quiet for a few weeks after the battle near Mars. Too quiet. Miles Carter didn't like it. He spent most of his time in the lab, studying the core. Something about it felt incomplete. Like it was waiting for something. Naomi Reyes noticed. "You're not sleeping," she said. "Can't," Miles replied. "Something's off." Meanwhile, Samuel Grant met with military leaders and scientists. The USS Aegis had changed everything, but now there were rumors. Strange reports, systems, failing without reason, ships losing contact, even some of the tech on Earth acting strangely. Then came the message. Not from space. From inside their own networks. A single line appeared on every secure system. "You do not understand what you have. Taken." Grant ordered full security sweeps. Every building, every ship, every data center. They found bugs, small alien devices hidden in code, in machines, even in old files no one had touched in years. They called it the Ghost Protocol. Someone, or something, had been watching them for a long time. Captain Daniel Hayes led the search team at the Colorado base. While checking an old terminal, he found a figure hiding in the shadows. A woman, human-looking, but not quite. She didn't run. She raised her hands. "I'm not here to hurt you," she said. Her name was Lyra Venn. She claimed to be part of a lost species, one that once knew the creators of the core. She said the Galactic Council had wiped her kind out, afraid of what they knew. Hayes didn't trust her. But when she showed them how to stop one of the hidden AI bombs inside the network, he started listening. Miles and Naomi questioned her for hours. "Why help us?" Miles asked. "Because they'll come for you next," she said. "And if you don't know the truth, you won't survive." The Council wasn't just scared of human weapons. They were scared of what humans might unlock, and who else might rise because of it. Lyra offered more than warnings. She offered help, knowledge, a way to see past the lies. Grant hesitated, then gave the order. Let her stay, for now. As night fell over the mountains, Miles looked at the stars again. This wasn't just about technology anymore. It was about survival, and the real fight had only just begun. The message came through clearly. Humanity was on trial, not for war, not for murder, but for breaking the balance of the galaxy. The Galactic Council had called the hearing. The charge was unauthorized use of forbidden technology. The place was a neutral station orbiting a dead world. The time, in 3 weeks. Samuel Grant read the message twice. Then he sighed. "They want to scare us," he said, but they were already scared. Miles Carter and Naomi Reyes stood in the war room. With him, Lyra Venn was there too. She had been living among them for weeks now, teaching them what she knew. "This isn't just politics," Lyra said. "It's a trap." Grant nodded. "We go anyway." The human delegation was small but strong. Leading, it was Ambassador Evelyn Cole, sharp, calm, and used to winning impossible fights. Miles and Naomi were part of the team. So was Lyra. They traveled aboard a diplomatic shuttle escorted by 2 USS Aegis-class ships. Just in case. When they arrived at the station, it was full of eyes. Aliens of all kinds watched them walk through the halls. Some looked angry, others curious, none looked friendly. The trial began in a large chamber lined with floating screens and silent guards. Council members sat in a circle above the floor. Their voices echoed as they listed the crimes of humanity. "You took tech that does not belong to you," one said. "You used force without permission. You broke the peace." Evelyn stood tall. "Peace? You mean control?" A murmur spread through the room. Lyra stepped forward. "You erased my people because we knew the truth. Now humans have found it too, and you're afraid." The council tried to stop her, but the cameras were still rolling. Everyone could see. Everyone could hear. She told them about the precursors, about the test, about how the council had hidden knowledge for centuries to stay in power. Some in the room believed her. Others didn't care. The verdict came down. Humanity must give up the core, or face sanctions. But before the council could act, an alarm sounded. The USS Aegis had arrived in orbit, along with ships from other species who had broken away from the council. Humans weren't alone anymore. As Evelyn and the team walked out, Miles looked at the stars again. This wasn't over. It was just getting started. The peace didn't last long. Within days of the trial, the Galactic Council made its move. Fleets of warships jumped into human space. They didn't ask again. They attacked. Earth's outer colonies were the first to fall under fire. Defense stations near Jupiter and Titan were destroyed in minutes. People died. Ships vanished. Samuel Grant stood in the command center beneath the Colorado mountains. He didn't flinch. "Send the order," he said. "All forces, engage." The USS Aegis led the counterattack. Fast, silent, deadly. It jumped behind enemy lines and struck hard. Other human ships followed, armed with precursor tech weapons no one else had. Battles raged across the solar system. Near Mars, Earth's orbit, even around the moon, humans fought not just with weapons but with speed, strategy, and surprise. Miles Carter sat in the lab watching data stream in. The core pulsed in front of him, reacting to something he couldn't yet understand. Naomi stood beside him. knows what's happening, she said. He nodded. I think it's waiting for us to prove we're ready. Captain Daniel Hayes was on the USS Aegis. He watched as his ship took down 2 enemy cruisers in seconds. Then came the biggest threat. A Council dreadnought, bigger than any human ship. It fired once. A blast so strong it wiped out an entire defense line around Mars. Hayes didn't hesitate. He turned the Aegis straight toward it. We can't match it head on, his pilot warned. We don't have to, Hayes said. Just get me close enough. With a burst of speed, the Aegis dove through enemy fire. It reached the dreadnought's weak point in its power core and fired everything it had. The explosion lit up half the system. The Aegis didn't make it out. On Earth, Miles heard the report and closed his eyes. Hayes was gone, but his sacrifice changed everything. Lyra Venn stood next to Miles in the lab. She looked at the core and placed her hand on it. It's time, she whispered. Together, they unlocked the final layer of the artifact. A signal shot out across the galaxy. A beacon that awakened ancient machines buried in deep space. Precursor stations came online, massive, powerful, and judging all who used their tech. Some alien worlds were erased instantly. Others fell to silence. The balance of the galaxy shifted in a single moment, and humanity stood at the center of it. As Miles looked at the sky, he knew one thing. This was no longer just a war. This was a beginning. The war was over. The Galactic Council had broken apart. Some of its leaders were gone, others had fled. Many of its member species had chosen new paths, some as allies to humanity, others vanishing into silence. Earth was still standing. So was Mars. Titan. The outer stations. They had been hurt but not broken. Miles Carter stood on the observation deck of the first Terran station orbiting Alpha Centauri. The stars stretched out before him like a map waiting to be read. Naomi Reyes walked up beside him. You're quiet, she said. He looked at her. Just thinking. About what they had done. About what they had become. Samuel Grant had stepped down from the Office of Planetary Defense. He said his job was done. The new Terran Accord was forming. A coalition. A free species built not on control but on choice. Lyra Venn had stayed. She helped rebuild what the precursors had left behind. She said the beacon had done its job. It had judged, and it had chosen. Not just one species, but all who were ready. Captain Daniel Hayes was gone, but his name was carved into the side of the new flagship, the USS Liberty, the first of many ships built for peace and exploration. Miles didn't feel like a hero. Neither did Naomi. They were just people who had found something big and refused to let it be taken away. Now the galaxy was opening again. Not ruled by fear, not controlled by old powers, but filled with new voices. Human voices. They had started as watchers of the stars. Now they were part of them. As Miles looked out at the endless dark, he saw planets, moons, and distant lights. A future that once seemed far away was now right in front of them. Naomi smiled. Ready to see what's next? Miles nodded. Yeah, he said. For the first time, we are. And with that, the first fleet of the Terran Accord jumped into the unknown, leaving behind the past and flying toward the stars.